Kohala Radio is a listener-supported, non-commercial, non-profit community radio station in partnership with the Kohala High and Middle Schools. We broadcast exclusively to North Kohala on Hawaii Island. KNKR reflects the North Kohala community by offering programming by a wide variety of local volunteers. We encourage cultural diversity and provide a platform for creative expression. KNKR promotes and broadcasts local community activities and events and presents local emergency broadcasting for the community. We believe that to be successful, Kohala Radio must provide a platform for free, open, and balanced communication and provide programming that attracts sufficient listener support to keep KNKR on the air.
Aloha! You are listening to KNKR LP 96.1 FM Kohala.
Stress free, that's all I wanna be. That high energy, all around me. That good vibe, that good one.
Aloha! It is 3:02 p.m. I'm Michál Anna, and you are listening to Intuitive Talk Story. Welcome. How is everyone doing out there today? It's October 23rd, 2025, live in the studio today. If you do ever want to call in, you can call in at 808-884-KNKR and join me in a conversation on the air today. I'm excited to be here today. I'm feeling the energy of renewal. So before I kind of dive in, I don't have a guest today. It's just me, and I have things I want to share and dive into some really cool concepts. But before we do that, let's kind of, in the spirit of Intuitive Talk Story, take a moment to bring ourselves, myself, into an intentionalized framework. So I'm just going to close my eyes if you want to join me and take a breath and be grateful and just center and ground and be aware and present, feeling the wind or feeling yourself connected to the earth, grounded, aware of your connection to all that is, source, God of your heart. And just intending to come into this hour of connection and communion together with open ears, open heart, mind and heart connected. That I would speak from that connected, coherent place. That we can all listen from that coherent place. Receive what you need. Take nothing else. If something doesn't resonate, let it go. And may everything have what they need today. Mahalo. Mahalo nilo keakua. So it is. Okay, so I think I better close this window. All right. Okay, so today we're on the new moon is happening right now. And, you know, we're in these big cycles, and it's fun to recognize how the big cycles match up with our own personal life. And so today I wanted to talk about renewal, new beginnings, surrender, because in order to have new beginnings, we often have to let go, surrender, release whatever wasn't serving us so we can close a door and open a new one. And in the greater scheme of things, there's this real availability for new energy kind of all around for all of us. And, you know, everyone I speak to, either in client work, friends, family members, it seems that many people are experiencing this sense of new beginnings, or a sense of letting go of maybe a habit, or maybe a job, or a way of being, or a behavior that no longer serves, that's no longer what I want to wear and put forward. So that's coming up all over the place. And so when we tune into that and you go, oh, wow, I'm feeling that. And I'm also recognize that I'm part of a greater whole. And that's kind of the energy available. And there's all this new infinite solar energy streaming in to our energy, which we are each our own solar suns. Oh, so I'm going to say right now, the opinions, beliefs, and views of the host do not necessarily reflect those of KNKR or their affiliates. So, as you know, I like to talk about us as divine, awesome creators, infinite sons, Christ beings of infinite source light. And so, in my framework, the way I like to view it, we are all infinite suns, sunshines, and we've had a lot of stuff covering us throughout time. Time being, what is time? A dimensional framework, but also a location. But we can also use it as describing all the vastness of experiences we've had. We say through time. So all the places I've been, per se. If something, back to that kind of, I talk a lot about programming, right? Removing programs and and coming into a place of wholeness. So we drop things, we fragment, we separate through quote unquote time in these different experiences. So we are going back through time or through our experiences at different places with ourselves and picking up these things that we lost. So we got covered. We threw, a box over it, or we cloaked it with something or threw something on it. So you can think of retrieving things into wholeness to your own inner sun to go, and in that same sense, you can think of uncovering, or you could think of a metaphor of uncovering this inner sun that maybe is being plugged into or covered, or someone else is harnessing the power, or somebody else has been plugged into it. That gets into a lot of things. Today, we're going to not talk too much about that, but that's definitely real and true. And as part of that surrender, right, in order to get free, we have to be willing to surrender a lot of things, our desires, what we think we're getting from something, what we think we're filling up. Remembering that most of the time, everything's just a reflection of your inner movie. We're all in our own game, playing this movie, this game, and this movie, having our own movie, I should say. And in having our own movie, it's reflecting to us wherever we are. We're vibrating through our life. So when a lot of craziness is coming towards me, well, then I'm bringing that in. And I have brought that in at many points in my life. I did a whole lot of crazy I traveled around the world to do crazy. I literally went deep into the trauma fields, into the bottom of the underworld and back to understand myself and others, and, thought I could save the world, so to speak. But you can really only save yourself. Bottom line, and that took me a long road to understand, of giving and giving and giving, being an empath myself, and having to do kind of the wounded healer path in this lifetime, and then move out of that into freedom and gain freedom. And that took deep surrender. It took deep, deep willingness to let go of big stories, huge stories, big roles, big stories, big opinions, thoughts, perceptions, many which aren't true or real, but everyone is, in their own movie. They're all seeing things from their own little viewpoint. And if you only look from your little limited viewpoint, well, you're going to most likely be experiencing the match to your trauma, right? Unless you're totally whole, unless you're a really whole being, and then you're vibrating wholeness. Yay. Go, go, go. That's what we want to do. But until we're really doing that completely, we're usually attracting things that are not yet in wholeness. So often we see through a filter, too, of that traumatized thing. And we project. So we're going to talk about a little bit about those things in a little bit. But first I want to talk about this whole sense of renewal. So in order to renew, we have to surrender. We have to let go, whatever's not serving us. So I'm going to start with a little story. I just returned from Kauai I've been so grateful and blessed to be able to go and teach and work with clients and see Ohana there and share time with dear musicians, artists, friends on Kauai. And I'm so grateful. I've been going numerous times throughout the last 2 years of my own healing since I kind of crushed my own world and chose freedom and chose sovereignty versus being plugged into things that aren't real. And then, wow, got to see that it was really not real. Like, holy cow, the things that have transpired since and the actions, all that have been transpired and I have seen out there. Holy cow, it really was just a trickery. It was really just a using fest. And so that can be humbling to understand that someone or something you got involved in, like I was deceived in certain ways. And to understand that and feel that deeply in your spirit and kind of, ooh, that hurts. Humble up and give thanks that I'm free. Give thanks that I love myself. Give thanks that I have gained all my wholeness. And so I thank the beings in my life for the journey of owning myself. Thank you. Thank you for that. I am grateful, and may you find your way, right? That's where we get to go. So we thank those that have oppressed us, who've hurt us, who've challenged or hierarchied us and control, blah, blah. Had a lot of those. So we get to forgive. And I've had some deep stuff to forgive. And it wasn't easy, but I made choices to do so. I made a choice to forgive. I made a choice to let go. I made a choice to move forward. I made a choice to love myself. I made a choice to heal. I made a choice to look at my little girl and find the places that were trying to get filled up by whatever I was thinking I was calling in, which was really still part of wound in my own viewpoint, right? Then we get into like, why we do what we do, right? Why do we do these things? We're doing it because we're reaching for something, unless you're really in a place of flow. And that's what we're going to, which is renewal. So thankfully, I'm feeling a lot of flow these days. I myself took about 18 months of deep healing from really moving from one thing to the next as far as my consciousness, healing from a vast crushing of my life and breaking my own heart, really. It took me 18 months to really deeply purge, recrystallize, give to myself, be with myself, do deep inner work and healing, and really give thanks and move and rewrite a number of things. I really feel like the last 2 months, it's been about 20 months now, I'm walking into a whole new time. I literally have been saying player 1 has died and I'm on player number 2. And player number 2 really feels like activated now, like that whole first section of life, and so to speak, for me, really feels like, wow, I'm just so much of it was an illusion. So many things I thought were real are not. Not to say like physical things, like not like dancing. My love of dance is the same. I've always loved to dance, and I still dance, and I will always probably dance, right? But these things that we reach for out in the world, experiences that maybe we think are something, and they aren't, because the only way we can really get anything is within ourselves, which is why I talk so much about that. Because I lived those things, and I've watched those things, and I see how we can get pulled by the carrot, right? I've watched many people, because I've chosen an artistic path as part of my journey. I've gotten to see a lot of carrot pulling, because a lot of people are in that journey in performance, entertainment, in that whole world. It's a real total whole world, quite frankly. There's a lot to say about that. We won't get into that today either. Anyway, renewal. So I was on Kauai, and I was teaching a class. And to begin with, my Southwest flight got canceled because of the shutdown, right? We're having federal shutdowns right now. So it got canceled. And so I had a much cheaper ticket. It was like $180 to, take the Southwest round trip. And now it's way more. It's twice as much. But I need to get there because I'm teaching, and I need to be there in a couple hours, so to speak. So I make the leap, and I just trust and go for it. And I've got some cash in my wallet that I'm intending to spend while I'm there. I've got $400 in my wallet, like in case, for food, everything, all the things. So I've got a little cash. So I go, and I have amazing classes. I I'm so grateful. Beautiful people, new connections, wonderful, Ohana, great community there in the dance and the work that I do, and super fun. Okay, so I leave. I go to where I'm staying, and I cannot find my wallet. I don't know where, and really long story short, I believe I dropped it, like it fell out of my purse on my way to my car. So I have a couple friends try to stop by there, try to find it that day. The next day, nobody sees it. I have the studio owners try to see if it's there. It's not there. So incidentally or interestingly, right, I have this luggage where I put my wallet, my ID and my bank card in my suitcase so I could access it easily while I'm traveling. So it wasn't in my wallet. I had it. I had my ID. And we all know, right? You got to have, that's the most important. I'm traveling. I need my ID or else I can't even get home. And my bank card, right? So I've got these two things. But I don't have this huge amount of money. And I just made money, right? So now all that money is in the wallet. I don't have any of the money. I have none of the money. And all my credit cards are in there. So I'm like, oh no. So I'm coming to grips with the fact that I've lost a lot of money. Like, oh boy, I just lost a lot of money. And that means I have no money. And so I'm giving thanks and going, well, that government shutdown, and, people, it's hard over here on Kauai too. It's small. I know it's hard over here for us. I'm Big Eye and, people over there, and I'm coming over and, I actually get to stay with my friends and give thanks. I'm really taken care of and grateful. So I just thought, somebody must really need that money. Like the fact that I've got my ID must mean that it's a giveaway. Like it's a sacrifice, like a let go. So I just let go. I just gave thanks and I canceled all my cards. I was responsible, did like the, responsible thing, made sure I was good. And then I just let it go. Like that Saturday morning, I was only like the next day. And I had amazing adventures and experiences and people. And I was then later at a market that I knew a woman who was serving the Ethiopian food as my student. And I had this amazing connection with these tourists that are visiting the island. I end up talking with their whole family. And I end up sharing this prayer, which I think I will share with you guys today, actually, because we're activating it daily. But anyway, share this whole prayer. I'll tell you more about it later. Share this whole prayer we do it aloud together, like as like their whole family and myself. And then that was just so beautiful of a moment. And I had my friends play the music at this market, and they're like they're my brother and sister. I went to school with my sis, and it's just, we've known each other, 30 years. And it's just really beautiful. So feeling all this love and aloha and the spirit of, just thanks and praise. I've surrendered, the money, whatever. I don't need anything. Just be here. And so I was just being there, just being myself, being a blessing, having fun, dancing, singing, playing, praying with these people. And then my friend, my student that had the food, I'm like, hey, so how much do I owe you? Because I do have my card, right? And she said, oh no, Michál, it's for you. That's for you. Thank you. I'm like, wow. And I told her I lost my wallet and that I was just giving thanks and being grateful. And she said, well, gosh, that's really sweet, Michál, that you're thinking of it that way. That's a good way to go about it. And I just looked at her and I said, yeah, well, look what happened. I'm thinking about it this way and being grateful. And then I come over here and you completely bless me with free food. So, you're like reciprocating and reflecting to me that same thing. So thank you. And that's, what a beautiful thing, right? So because I let it go, it was like abundance was everywhere, right? She was blessing me with food. I wasn't in need. I wasn't feeling like, oh no, I'm going to go hungry. And I do have money in my bank account, but I really wasn't intending to spend any, right? I'm not, I was on a tight budget enough that I want to be aware, that was the money I had to spend and that was it, right? Kind of thing. So but I wasn't feeling tight. I wasn't feeling in lack. I was just feeling like well, it's meant to be. And, God's got me. I'm taken care of. Source has got me. I'm just here. I give thanks. And then that's what happened, which was just so beautiful. Like, yay. And then there was this beautiful music I got to experience later. And the next day, we went to a unity service there that my dear friends Ohana play music for. And I've gotten to do some, poetry and some, kind of spoken word there before with them, spiritual poetry kind of stuff. And so I love this Center for Spiritual Living. I love that place and the people, the reverends there. And so, at any rate, really fun. Now we're there, and they don't normally all stand up and do praise and worship and kind of, dance around, but we ended up all dancing and singing, and more of this energy was taking place. And it just felt like everywhere I went, there was an expansion of energy. And I felt that because I was letting go, and then when I tell people about my wallet and then share with them that expansion and that I've let it go, it also kind of gave them an expansion, right? Like, wow, that's really cool that you just let it go and you're experiencing, blessings. And so this sense of renewal. And then the sermon that day was renewal. Okay, so it was renewal. And so I bring renewal to you all in a different format, but same in that it is about renewing and being willing to let go. If we can't let go, then we can't really renew, right? If we hold on to the old, then renewal is not possible. So in order to do that, we have to be willing to shift our thinking, right? Shift from the fight, shift from I don't have enough, shift into another way of being. I was at school this morning, and I always tell the kids, because they will often say, I cannot do blah, blah. And so I say in the beginning, like, okay, so just so you know, there's no I cannots or I don't know how in my class. You're probably all under 10 years old, so most everything you do not know how to do yet because you've only been here 10 years. There's so much you do not know, right? I mean, there's so much I do not know, and I've been here a lot longer. So, and so A, that. B, you can't do anything until you try. So everything is just, I'm trying, so it's not, I cannot, it's a work in progress. I'm working on it. It's coming along little by little, however you want to think of that, it's coming. So no, I cannot. So when we put ourselves into, a framework of shifting from a place of I cannot to I can, or it's possible. This is kind of the first step. Just dreaming that everything is possible. Is it possible for me to let go of my pain? So since that story, since I just, I've been home now a few days and, cruising around, being with family and etc. And I've had a few conversations with various people, Ohana style, talking about some of these concepts and about pain, actually, and holding on to our pain. So in order to renew, we have to let go. So can we renew if we're holding on to our pain? No, we cannot. No. So we've got to let go of our pain. And this is what this attachment to the story of, so I was talking to a family member about the story of their story of pain, which a lot of it is a long time ago, long time. And so is that pain still dictating how you show up in your world today? Is it still deciding? And we do that with a lot of things. We say well, my dad did such and such, and that's why I'm like this. Or my mom treated me like this, and that's why I do it this way. Well, can you blame me because I was abandoned, so that's why I act like this? We justify our actions a lot of times. But what happens when we release justification and we take responsibility and we go, yeah, that is why I felt this way. But I can say just from my own experience of this last 2 years of really the deepest pain I've probably had in this lifetime, I just experienced in this last 2 years. I mean, it was gut-wrenching pain, gut-wrenching. I broke my heart. I mean, it was horrific. And, I made choices to move out of my pain. I work with a lot of people who hold on to pain and that we worked at letting it go, right? Which is partly maybe why I got the experience of getting to move through it in this fashion, but really understanding the depth of pain. And it's really a breaking heart on so many levels, because I put in so much. I was doing nonprofit work. It was a lot of things. It was multi-layered giving, not just one relationship was happening. It's a really big scenario. The good news for me on that was it also crushed all my illusions at one time. So I literally skyrocketed in my growth with one huge experience. I went all the way down and then all the way up, kind of like, it's a big experience, huge, and really required a lot of me. And still, just in that letting go, right? To continue, just be at peace, right? Protect your peace, so to speak. But that is hard to do, because when we're in the depth of pain, it feels like molasses down there. It feels hard to get through. It feels murky and mucky. And it really requires making a choice. I was telling the person I was speaking to, how did you become, the profession you are? You made a choice, right? You just chose to do so. How did you stop eating sugar? You just chose it. So you make choices, and then we commit to them, and then we make ourselves accountable to ourselves. And that means if I'm accountable to myself, it means whatever is coming up, if I'm dedicated to getting through it, I will get to a place of surrendering my pain so I can experience the renewal. I get to learn to shift my shiz. Shift it. You're in charge, remembering that we're in charge of shifting. No one else, So as we empower ourselves to this understanding, we allow ourselves the ability to change our entire reality. It's no one's controlling what happens for us. We are. We control it. So if I constantly am projecting outward that, I'm always going to get hurt. People are always messed up, which I was feeling myself for a while. Sorry guys, but I was feeling like men are really horrible. Blech. I can't believe how terrible these people are. I was feeling that angst and oh my gosh, are there any nice people? I was feeling all those things myself. So I hear us all in our experiences when we're hurt. It's we just want to But I'm also grateful to just know beings who are making good choices and are moving forward, and I get to do that and go, you know what? No, I believe in humanity. I believe in the power of love. And so I let go, and I trust that we're all doing it, and not on my time, but on God's time, right? It's not how I want it to look, but it's how God needs it to look. And each person is making choices that will hopefully get them there, even if it doesn't look like it from here and from my point of view. May they get there in their own time, in God's time, and may God keep them source light, right? Many times that's all we can do, and that is part of that letting go. And it helps to let go. It's easier to let go. For me, it's all about us all letting go. Back to that Holy Mother, letting go and giving thanks to our life-giving energy, the force of life, the Christic, the Christ consciousness. We say, this is a whole topic on its own, which we'll have to dive into. What does it mean to say the Christ, Christianity? That's a whole topic. But for now, just breathe into the divine feminine. If you thought about the Christ as the divine feminine and divine masculine embodied in balanced harmony, really. So we want to embody the Christ, the Christic light, that which is whole. And so we shift. So I'm going to share with you some song to break up you listening to my sharing here. And this is my dear friends in Ohana. I was just talking about the Soulgood Family. And this song is about shifting, changing your perspective, and celebration. So enjoy.
for uniting. Politicians keep on fighting. Don't you think it's time for uniting? Blow Makani, cleanse my soul. Blow Makani, cleanse my soul. Whether you're living in the city or across the deep blue sea, sharing Mother Earth, it must be a priority. Loving, living, manifesting in this reality. Listen to the message of Robert Nesta Marley. One love, one heart, one unity. Away, away. So much trouble in the world. Away, away. So much trouble in the world. Everybody seeking the truth. It's time to tell the youth. Everybody seeking the truth. It's time to tell the youth. Lord Makani, cleanse my soul. Lord Makani, cleanse my soul.
Aloha! My name is Jen McGeehan, founder of Remember Through Music. Think back to your favorite life songs. They may not be songs of today, but rather songs of yesterday. What memories come flooding back? Music memory is the last part of the brain lost to Alzheimer's and dementia. Often the music of one's life brings the listener out of their fog, enabling them to remember who they are and what they loved in life. It can help them recognize family and friends. Joy, laughter, and communication often returns. Remember Through Music has provided personalized iPods and MP3 players to those with memory loss since 2016, completely free. To request a personalized MP3 player for someone you know and love, please call me at 747-2365 and visit our website at rememberthroughmusic.org.
The Kohala Night Market returns on Wednesday, November 5th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Kohala Village Hub. The theme this month is Get Fit for Fall. You can join us for some dancing and Zumba and get a workout in. Also, the community is invited to shop locally produced food and crafts. There will be information booths from local groups. Food trucks will be cooking up some local grinds. That's the Kohala Night Market on Wednesday, November 5th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Kohala Village Hub. See you there.
Hey, this is P Love. I'm wondering, have you looked at our online K&KR shop lately? We have some really cool new stuff. When you buy a t-shirt, a coffee cup, or a hat, you contribute to our station. And, duh, you look really cool wandering around Kohala. And you can show your friends and neighbors that you support your all-volunteer Kohala radio station, K&KR. So you know what to do. Head on over to our website, knkr.org, and shop, baby, shop. Who doesn't love to shop? Yay, shopping.
Okay, aloha. You're listening to KNKR LP 96.1 FM Kohala. I'm Michál Anna, and welcome back to Intuitive Talk Story. I'm talking today about renewal, so what it takes to let go of our pain so we can move into renewal and experience the magic of new beginnings, new possibilities, expansion, something more than you thought was possible before, renewing. So we just listened to an awesome song by the Soulgood Family before the break. If you want to check them out, you can find them on Spotify. Soulgood Family, that's all one word, Soulgood Family on Spotify. And I think they have some other venues, but that's a great place to check them out. And probably iTunes as well. Fabulous, fabulous music. And so poignant. And you notice maybe in the song that it began with so much trouble in the world and then shifted into so much love in the world. So energy flows where attention goes, right? So if we're focusing our energy on all that we're not experiencing, if we're focusing our energy on what we don't want, we're still focusing energy on it. This is kind of like a brain, like, I was sharing with someone earlier that even though when you push something, pushing something away has just as much energy towards it as going towards it. So if I'm like, I really don't want that, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it, it's just as much as me going, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Because I so deeply am putting energy towards it. So our goal is to get into neutrality and be in 0 point in the center, not pulled by whatever's in front of us. If it's getting me to feel something on any level, like any frustration, if it's pulling me to something, pulling me to desire, pulling me to want, pulling me to like, ooh, I should get one of those, or whatever. You know, all these little things that are happening in the mind at different points in the life when you're moving through patterning and programming. So renewal is about us letting today, our opportunity is think of something right now that you're ready to let go of, that you're like, you know what, that's done in my experience, in my journey. There's always something we can let go of, right? Surrender the ways to speak to somebody, surrender my behavior, surrender how I show up. You know, one thing my mom and I like to say to each other is, hey, let's practice talking to each other like we're each other's clients. And at the same time, let's also be really loving and give each other hugs more, right? So that's a couple different things. One is I'd be respectful of your time. You don't walk into a client or someone and go, hey, you know, what do you got this thing? Can you hand me blah, blah, blah? You would ask, like, are you available? Do you have time? We start to treat one another with more of that kind of energy, which is really treating yourself also with that energy, because that's how you would like to be treated, and have the space for you to collect your thoughts and bring something to the table. So as we start to have more of this present, you know, kind of feeling with one another and with yourself, you get to let go of something. So that's one example, let's say. There's a million things one might let go of, but that's an example of a thing you could let go of. Here's another one. Actually got back from Kauai and with, again, Ohana had a little shishing come up, and I had just come off this really like fairly juicy experience, very open, express, like super yummy, feeling really invigorated and like in my peace. And one of my like ohana was but I was also had some expectation of something, of a person, that something was going to take place. And that thing had not really taken place. So I spoke it like, hey, kind of what I just said not to do. I spoke it like, hey, what do you, what's going on? I'm feeling disappointment that this isn't happening. Well, the other person was in a very fragile place and feeling a lot of angst from their own experiences from the week and from other family members and blah, blah, blah. So that triggered their own wounding around that stuff. And literally they dumped all that on me. This rage fest just like came forward of all these things that weren't mine. They didn't belong to me. And I was really clear that they weren't, because I'm like, that's not even me or has nothing to do with what I've said. However, I'm also recognizing, oops, I could have brought this to this person differently. And just I ignited the trigger, which I'm very familiar with. I did this a lot in my past life. I was very good at igniting the person I was with and their trigger. It was constant rage fest, which is what I was experiencing right now, like from this person. And I felt, gosh, this feels just like that old story. Why is this old story in my experience right now? This very uncomfortable old story that doesn't feel safe, I don't like it, it's not fun. But instead of reacting or triggering, or I didn't feel any trigger. So that was maybe why I was experiencing it too, because I'm in my own self experiencing my renewal, right? And something that had been in my world was rageful person who was very triggered constantly and coming from deep emotional wounding. So I was constantly dealing with that trauma, and it was very stressful to my nervous system, to everything in my beingness. And so, to no longer have that in my experience, right? And have this kind of like come up was like, wow, this is super interesting. And I didn't feel any stress in my body, and I didn't take it on. And I did get a little louder than I would have liked and saying like, hey, can we stop? That's not what's happening. But there was so much projecting going on. I was just really clear, and I didn't feel pulled. And we were able to actually, that person was able to shift, and we were able to do the task that we needed to do in that moment and stop talking, which is really like a tool. Please stop. We cannot get to the root right then. There's a trigger involved. So if there's a trigger like that, you need to stop. We get to a place of like, can we be quiet? If we're doing something together, just do the task and then go your own way to think, feel, meditate, experience, reflect, ponder, which is what we did. And then we came back together the next day, and we had an intentional conversation. We opened up a sacred space. We prayed together and, shared that we want to come into it at 0 point and be held and stay in that place with one another. And we did, and we both took responsibility for the part that was ours. Mine was that I could have come out in a whole different way and been more gentle in my initial asking. I had my own expectation, which was driving my communication. So back to like, oops, that was my lesson to go, right, got to come from 0 and not have an expectation and move, or even if I'm feeling that, right, move into a framework where I can deliver the information in a way that can be heard, right? So then that person was able to also see that they literally projected many things onto me, and they apologized for that, and that none of those things were true, and they were just projections based on the intense week they had, and they shared experiences around what had gone on for them. So we were both able to really hear one another and shift ourselves into a new framework and take responsibility. And also she was able to let go, because that's a little girl. She's been doing a lot of work, this person. And so she was able to acknowledge that, like, wow, that's the old story. And I was like, yeah, it is the old. I felt the old story. It was bringing up my old story. And I feel like, so on a bigger scale, I felt like just that feeling alone is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, where we're at this point right now where all sorts of old stories are leaving. And it's a really big opportunity to step into a really large new beginning. You know, there's new beginnings all the time, but this feels big because it feels planetary. It feels like everyone has the opportunity to step into a new beginning. How are you going to see the world right now? The world wants you to see it divided and angry and separated and, you know, oh, woe is me. And, you know, wants you to be in angst on some level about something. But what if you're willing to surrender all that, let that go, and trust the path? Trust yourself. Trust that I'm just going to look and take responsibility for what's in front of my face, what I'm doing each and every moment. How am I showing up? How am I living day to day? Do that, and do that really well, right? And feel really enlivened and allow the renewal. Because as we come into renewal, we come into unity, really, right? We're willing to surrender. Like that person and I, we were, you know, Hannah, we're dear, you know, family. We're willing to surrender, let go, be responsible, give each other a hug, take responsibility, and intend that that's not going to happen again like that. That's cast out. Let's heal. That's done. Little girl, love you. We love ourselves. Let's do a better job next time and know the truth. Put in what we want, right? So in my framework, it really just takes making choices. It's not like someone's going to do it for you. You are the creator of your journey. You're writing the story every day with how you think, how you feel, what you put out into the world. And so if you choose to see your world as a more enlivened one, you will start to experience it that way, right? But we first have to be willing to take that leap of faith that says it could actually be awesome. It could actually be really great. I deserve to experience beauty, love, grace, amazing things, right? And to be in that joy and feel the renewal. So in that framework, a lot of beautiful things happened for me over the weekend that felt deeply renewing. And I'm working on this dance piece that 2 of my dancers are on Kauai and 3 are here, and we're presenting it this weekend at Hilo. If anyone is UH Performing Arts Center, it's the 50th anniversary Big Island Dance Council extravaganza featuring multiple choreographers and dance companies from around the Big Island. I am deeply honored to be a part of this celebration of dance on the Big Island, honoring the founder and dear Trina, whom has been my dear mentor through BIDC. Actually, I was honored and privileged to be on the board for a number of years, I think about 8, and work in the schools when I first started doing that work through BIDC. And then, of course, I wrote my own programs and raised my own funds to work in the schools, as I still do, which is so much fun. And I'm so grateful to be at the school sharing with children dance and music and expression and, you know, coming into ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. Let's renew our spirit and let go of what doesn't serve us. So you might have thought of what you're letting go of today. What are you letting go of? What's something you can just, in yourself, just name it. What am I letting go of? What am I willing to release? And make a choice to trust the greater wisdom, the greater gift of my path, and allow renewal. There was comments last night. I don't know if anyone saw that. I think they're called the Orionides or Leonides. I'm saying it wrong. But I saw one, and it was huge. And that felt like a really big sign. So, you know, it's not like, sometimes it's not like your signs are huge. You just feel the flow. You're sourcing the flow, flowing the source, and you just feel it. You know it. And then when something like that, I don't always see comments, you know. And I wasn't sitting outside looking for it. I just walked outside for one moment and looked up, and bam, the comment. And I was like, and it felt like it was for me, right? In that moment. And in that moment it is. It's my movie. So it was for me. And I felt so grateful. And that gratitude and that feeling I'm having in myself cultivates more of it. And more of it, and more of it, until that's the writing feeling you're having all the time, see? So over the many years of my evolutionary growth of coming out of the mire, which took me quite some time and took me some very deep dives to do so, it was not always easy. It's been very hard. And there was moments, because when you're in the, I call hell paradigms, underworld paradigms, the jail yard, trying to be the top of the jail yard, which is what most things are. They're the world. They're Lucifer's games, and people trying to be like number one, like be the guru, be the hierarchy, be the thing, be the master, be the whatever. That's all like top of the jail yard stuff. Anything pushing hierarchy ain't it. Just saying. So we got to go to God, go to love, go to truth, go to love, to like the real juicy stuff where we embrace love, surrender, are open and unified, and we realize everyone's just dealing with themselves. So another example of that is forgiving. So I had another experience chatting with a beautiful being, a friend of mine that was taught, has had someone betrayed them long ago, and it's been very hard to forgive them. But I was realizing that they were taking it very personal and still holding the pain as if they did it to them. But the truth is that person did it to themselves because they don't love themselves and they don't treat their own life with clarity and love. So they've been experiencing and calling in turmoil and continue to call it in, and then continued through their ancestry to call it in. So when you can look at the wider picture, you realize, oh, take nothing personal. That wasn't even mine. It wasn't even to me. It was the person, and I just got in the way. And now I'm allowing that to make my heart blackened or to eat at my soul or my spirit. It's hurting me, not them, and it belongs to them because it was never mine in the first place. It was never personal to me. They can't even see me because all they can see is their own pain, their own trauma, their own dysfunction. So see, if we can realize what's mine and what belongs to somebody else. I work with kids a lot, and it's easy to see how, kids take on the pain of their parents. And it's like, that's not theirs. We take it on as children because we want to heal our parents. And so we perpetuate those traumas. But it takes us making a choice that it stops here. I'm going to choose to surrender. I'm going to choose to let go. And I'm going to choose renewal. I'm going to choose to open up to something new. I'm going to trust source. I'm going to source the flow. I'm going to flow the source and allow my life to be a prayer. Allow my life to be sacred. Allow myself to feel into this experience of joy and expression. And so I want to share another song that is so beautiful from my dear friends, dear Ohana, that I would love to share with you here. Let's see. And it is, hold on, here we go. I got it. So I'm going to put it on for you and you'll see. Enjoy.
Singing sweet melodies. I love to see bees and flowers in the trees. I listen to the wind whenever I need some answers. I flow weightlessly with the queen of the sea. Yeah, I go to the sea when I need some cleansing. I love to sing songs eternally appealing. I love to dance, shake my body to the groove, baby. I love to love myself in all of creation. Let the earth be sacred. I love to love, and you know I'm not concealing. Open up to bliss as the mystery's revealing. Singing by the fire on the cool island evening. Heavens are reflecting in this moment, there is oneness. Let the land be sacred. Let the sea be sacred. Let the sky be sacred. Let the earth be sacred. Life is our harmony and love is the reason. Honor and respect to indigenous cultures. Ours in the sharing of the old and new wisdom. Wake up and see there is no separation. Take care of Mother Earth because she's all providing clean soil, air, and water for the future generations. Put out the fires of this mindless consuming. Give what you can and only take what you are using. Hey, Allah, hey, hey, Allah, hey, hey, Allah, hey, hey, Allah, hey, Allah, hey, Allah, hey, Allah, hey, Allah, hey. Kala ika hikina, ika moana, kamoana hohonu, ika lewa, kalewa nu, ika hikina, ayakala. Hey, Allah, hey. This song is gonna end, so let's come to a conclusion. What can we do to dispel all the illusion? Kindness is the word, purposeful conversations, healing of the earth and the graceful reparations. Let the land be sacred. Let the sea be sacred. Let the sky be sacred. Let the earth be sacred.
All right. That was Soulgood Family. And yeah, I just absolutely love their music and love them as beings, dear Ohana of mine. And let the earth be sacred. Let ourselves be sacred. Let ourselves be renewed into this sacred feeling that is really available for us. You know, it's always, well, it hasn't always been there. So it's available now. We're here now. We're available to expand into the sense of renewal, letting go of our pain, all that doesn't serve, make a choice. That simple. We get to choose it. And we get to decide how we're going to move forward and how we're going to create our best experience in this life. And so in that framework, we know like I talked about earlier, we can choose to put our energy where things are divided, or we can choose to put them into a unified field. So if we continue to focus on the fight, we're never going to really have what we're looking for. So there's this beautiful prayer that's been created by collective Ohanas in the islands that is going around to be resonated at 10 and or 4 daily Hawaii Standard Time. And it's almost 4 now, so I'm going to share it with you all. And dear Gabriella is here as well. Gabby, Stereo Gab, is in the house, so she'll be here too to resonate with us. And I'm going to share this. And if you'd like a copy, feel free to email me. I would send it to you. MICHALANNALOVE@gmail.com. MichalAnnaLove@gmail.com. So here we go. In reverence and gratitude, we call upon the presence and power of the one holy source within and without, that which sustains and nourishes all that is. We honor original creation, all that has come before us, and all that is meant to be here now. Please bathe us in the rivers of remembrance of our Genesis. Show us how to live in harmony with one another and all life. Activate our collective hearts and minds to the highest good for all. We are grateful for the bounty that our fertile and fully mineralized soils provide. We give thanks for the life-giving rains, cleansing winds, pure waters, and healthy oceans full of life. We utilize our free will to vision and co-create abundance, freedom, and peace on this earth and beyond. We are grateful to live unified, sovereign, and free, with all life thriving, respected, and valued now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is lovingly decreed. Mahalo. Thank you for joining me here today. This has been a beautiful hour with you all. Thank you for being here. May you go forth and be renewed into all that is your divine birthright and experience joy in each and every moment as is originally intended. Thanks. Aloha, and enjoy the rest of your day. We got Stereo Gab coming up next. And yeah, here we go.
John Cruz is coming to Kohala on Saturday.